Welcome to Unwatchable. On today's episode, we talk about favorite superpowers, newly discovered sad poet Tommy Welch reads a poem, and close it out with some upcoming fall TV shows. Cue the thing.
Harry Potter. Harry Potter. This sounds like a video game
So I got a synthesizer a while ago, and the only good purpose I could think of using it for is this podcast. You heard it last week, but I decided after the fact to use it, so that's my synthesizer.
You can always make intros to arcade games.
Mm-hmm.
You could be a songwriter for Zelda. So like, sky's the limit. If the sky were just 8-bit games.
Yeah.
Yeah, so every episode of Unwatchable now features a live performance of our very own Samuel Paulet and his swag-tastical synthesizer.
Yeah, just me pushing buttons and getting sound.
Doing some stuff.
Yeah, so we're on Spotify, but you can get us for $0 on SoundCloud. But really just be a dick and illegally download it. And thus take all the money away from producers and artists who work hard and put their creative input into things. But I digress.
On that note, let's move on to the first topic of today.
This topics are superpowers, and I think this is a stupid question to ask because the only superpower that would be practical in today's day and age is super speed. And I'm not talking some Quicksilver speed of sound super speed. I'm talking the Flash, faster than the speed of light super speed, because that's the superpower. You can get away with anything because you're faster than cameras, and you don't need a car.
No,
you can just go wherever. Doesn't matter.
But there's always a drawback to every power. So is it like, do you just get like super sweaty when you run? Like,
I mean, the Flash's whole thing is like he has super high metabolism. So the Flash's downside is that he just needs to eat a lot because he has a connection to the Speed Force, and the Speed Force is the nerdiest of the nerd things.
Is that like a limitation though, having to eat like so much?
Yeah,
like I would love it if my
he's in peak physical condition and he just runs really fast. And he chooses.
And my weakness is eating.
Oh, I have to eat every minute of the day. What a bummer.
But that's it for him. Every other, like Superman, the flight, you're gonna get caught. Come on, you're getting caught. Just stick to the ground.
There's planes and missiles and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But on the subject of eating, my superpower will be basically Kirby, where I can like just have a bottomless stomach, just like walk into a room, it's full of like people I don't like, and it's just like
nice.
And then
would you then be able to
that I could like take upon all their physical characteristics and down B spam them.
So let's say you were to absorb a group of teenaged boys who happen to be juniors at our school. You'd like turn into a Vineyard Vine shirt.
Yeah, and also there would be just like sprinkle in racism
and slut shaming.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Miss McCurry, that one was for you.
I think she listens to this.
Probably.
Will
Will just caught up with the joke for everyone. So if you're behind now, there's no going.
We're not describing it. That was for the people. They know who they are.
Yeah.
Basically, Mr. Galloway, when he was envisioning school, he's like, you know what? I want a bunch of rich kids, cisgendered white guys.
Of course.
Just going up and just being terrible people.
Yeah.
It not only that, but in a microphone in front of the entire school.
Yes. Give them the power of that.
Guys, remember that time I got drunk? Guys?
Guys, remember that time when so-and-so had sex in the back of someone's car?
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys, remember that time when a white person touched a black person?
Oh, my God, what?
Guys, remember that time when I'm sad and alone and need someone to acknowledge me? Guys?
Guys?
Remember that? Will, what's your favorite superhero? Superpower.
Favorite superpower. I would go with like the whole Wolverine thing.
The self-healing? Or the
Yeah,
claws?
like the self... Well, the claws are cool, but I mean, like...
You want immortality.
I want the immortality. The immortality and the self-healing is pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, he's basically a vampire without having to do the whole weird, moody thing with also the sucking of the blood and everything. Like, he's just immortal and can't die.
You see, your power is really great if you want to watch everything you love crumble and die.
Yeah, we were talking about like the downfalls of everyone, and the thing with the whole like immortality
is it
sucks. You literally watch everyone you love die.
But you keep on getting a comic book.
That's true. That's true.
But
being
what would you
portrayed by
do
big burly buff men?
What would you do with that power? Would you just decide to fight in every historical war with America?
Yeah.
Like in that.
Even though you're Canadian.
But that was, let's be honest, that was like the best montage in such a
montage.
really, really bad movie.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
But that montage, it made you excited for what
Could have been.
What could have been exciting.
What could have been a good movie, and then they sewed Deadpool's mouth shut, and it. Anyways.
Michael,
Oh wow, they're like literally and figuratively.
Yeah, no, they the mark with the mouth. That's like his thing, and they took away his mouth. It's dumb. So if I had to pick a superpower to have, probably, see, it like changes like throughout my life. I always get asked this question. I'd probably want like psychic powers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like that would just be really convenient.
Do you think you'd have the
for,
patience
like-
to train your powers though? Because we all know how you are with follow through. Now imagine if you have to hone your brain.
Well, see, the whole thing with me and follow through is that like I always follow through with things that interest me, and I feel like if I had psychic powers, that's something that would actually interest me. So
just
I'd follow
imagine
through with
all
it.
the like useless information that people are thinking about. It's just like childhood memories. Shut up.
But I'd be able to control it. Like, if I wanted to tap into what you were thinking right now, like I could do that. I mean, initially, of course, when I just got the power, I wouldn't be able to control it, and everyone's words would just be going into my thought, and I'd be a lot more schizophrenic than I already am.
You gotta focus.
But I feel like I'd learn to control it, and then it'd be really useful and convenient.
Well, see, I was gonna say that power, but then I decided not to at the last second. Because I don't think I'd be able to deal with people if I could read their minds. If I could
not
realize
everyone's thinking about Vikings.
That would.
We like to give Will a hard time because he watches a TV show that no one else watches.
Shut up!
He likes Vikings.
It's good.
It's really good,
Guys, come on, let's go get on a boat. All right, we're still on a boat.
No, shut up. All right, I'm gonna continue with my point because you guys are being mean. I don't think you can deal with people because imagine if you knew. Because I'm pretty sure everyone knows that almost everyone in the world is an asshole in their truest form. So
Yeah,
I feel like if you had the power to find out just how much of an asshole someone was, then you probably just wouldn't be able to deal with people on a normal basis.
I think we're about to get into very nerd meta, so skip forward about a minute 30 if you don't care. I always view the limitations of psychic. If you really wanted to know something, I think our brains are very what we're actively thinking. If you're psychic, you'd probably be able to easily see that. But
Right.
then there's memory if you wanted to learn something, and we shelter memory more. So if you wanted to find memory, you'd actually have to interface with someone and psychically interrogate them. And the thing, if you watched the show Young Justice, Miss Martian, she's the most powerful psychic ever, but she's not able to hone her powers to the point where she puts people in a comatose state whenever she has to find information out.
Dude, same.
Yeah. So I think that's one of the big limitations. You'd leave a trail if you really needed to know something or incept an idea into someone, you could really do some damage. Okay, I think we're We're out of the nerd zone.
Out of the nerd zone. Welcome back, everyone.
Hi.
We missed you.
God.
Wow.
So much nerd.
That was whoa. My
Okay,
God.
so it's Tommy wrote a poem and he got for Vox Teens or something.
Which I didn't. Did you guys know that he did poetry?
No,
I didn't know this.
Just now.
Like,
No.
when did you do poet? Like, when did that become a thing? Like, have you always or
4
just?
years ago.
Oh wow.
Okay.
But what shameless promotion? What?
We'll include a link so you can vote for Tommy on SurveyMonkey.
Yeah.
Wait, what? I need to justify the things I do by being
then after
published in a magazine?
And then after the poem, I'm going to tell a dirty joke to balance it out.
Right.
Alright, so listen to this, and then you'll get a dirty joke in the end.
Oh yeah.
It's a win-win for everyone.
No
Yeah.
one pretend the skip forward button doesn't exist. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a good poem.
So basically, my bookshelf has always been very important to me, and I feel like the books are like sort of part of me. And I really like Allen Ginsberg, so I sort of took from that. But so if you don't give a shit, how about you skip forward? All right, let's
vote
go.
anyways.
Top left, acutely American, going on the road but finding only the grapes of wrath, pressed and fermented in my flask as I tolerated the bickering between the beatnik Kerouac and his predecessor Steinbeck. My eyes glaze over the haphazard Hemingways and the out-of-place and untamed wild. Whitman's piercing eyes see that picture of the boy and the artist and almost ask, what are the Irishmen doing here? But by God who's dead, the better question, what is this droll tale beyond good and evil doing here? I bring it down past the books that taught me that there is, in fact, evil, buzzy flies and sun so native, and I put the bearded non-believer next to the clean-shaven optimist, both burrowed in a shelf of philosophers I'd never bother to read. Some books are like neighbors I'll never know. The chaos of it all. Burgess looks pleased. The overwhelming and overpacked stacks. I remember when I liked you, Fitzgerald, but now you keep warm in your winter dreams, nestled on top of Othello. You two may get along quite well, actually, tragedies and all. To be honest, there was a time when things were dark, and there was a time when I was young, and in a shelf of big words and lost meaning, those two little white books, with so much voice, Salinger and Silverstein, have comforted me through it all and through it all again.
In between the sheets. I tried. Samuel, now do the good dirty joke.
That was beautiful.
It was actually very good.
Can we take a
Tommy.
moment? Can you just let there be a moment
Wow.
of wow?
You just like.
So, if you want to vote for that,
We'll post the
You
link.
can't see it, but we're all making a face.
Michael will tweet the link and
I'll tweet the link
to our
it'll be on
6 followers.
Facebook.
We only
it'll
have
be
6 followers. Fix that.
I will do my
Social
best,
media,
sir.
man.
or we could, I went through every one of my contacts, which is like a whole 53 of them, not including the people who actually subtract the 8 contacts I have who hate me, subtract the 2 girls who will not talk to me right now, and subtract my parents. I sent about 42 texts, just like, hey, here's this link. You should totally check it out. You should totally vote for me. Please, I beg of you.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
good, though.
Hey,
That
you
was
got,
very good,
Hey,
though.
you're allowed to.
Thank
It's how 4J got Sweetwater.
Yeah.
it was.
So,
They texted everyone every day.
everyone.
It was aggressive.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
It worked, though.
It did.
Yeah.
It's good. Now that we've gotten from good poetry, we're gonna go into dirty jokes now. Here's a dirty joke. So, a photographer at the local newspaper is told of these 2 little women and their twin sisters at the nursing home, and they're both about to turn 100, being that they're twins.
Right.
So his editor says, go down to the nursing home and take a picture of the 2 women. And he says, okay. So he goes to the nursing home and he meets the 2 women. They're very pleasant. One of the women, he finds out, has perfect hearing despite her 100 years, but her sister can barely hear a thing, and her sister with good hearing has to say everything to her. She can barely hear because she's so deaf.
Of course.
So he lines them up for the photos. So he says, can you guys please go stand over by the window so I can take your picture? The deaf sister says, what did he say? And the photographer and the sister says, he wants us to stand by the window. Okay. So they go and stand by the window, and they sort of stand by each other. And he says, could you 2 stand closer together? The deaf sister says, what did he say? And her sister tells her to come a little closer. She puts her arm around her sister. And then the photographer says, "Okay, give me a second to focus." This deaf sister says, "What did he say?" The good hearing sister says, "He says he's going to focus." The deaf sister says, "Oh my, both of us at the same time?"
That was good. Good one, Samuel. Way to lighten up the mood.
Yay.
So there's a businessman, right? And he loses all of his money at Vegas, and he's like asking all these taxi drivers to like, "Can I get a ride back to the airport? I don't have any cash." And there's the one who's in the very back of the line of taxi cabs outside the casino says, "Go fuck yourself. Just like get out of my sight." So he works for 3 years, like rebuilding his business, getting back all the money he lost. His wife left him. He gets a new wife. And in 3 years, he goes back to Vegas. So he's like scouting out the place and he sees the same taxi driver in the back. So he goes to every single taxi cab in front and he says, "Can you drive me and give me a blowjob?" And everyone's like, no. Why would I do that? No. So he goes all 49 taxis, just like, "Can you drive me and give me a blowjob? Can you drive me and give me a blowjob?" Everyone's like, no, of course not. Then he gets in the same taxi he saw 3 years ago who said, "No, go fuck yourself." And he sits and he's like, "Can you drive me to the airport?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And they pull out, and as he drives past all the cars, he gives them 2 thumbs up, just like.
That's great. Oh goodness. So I love some of my favorite dirty jokes are little Jimmy jokes. You guys know little Jimmy jokes.
No.
So it's little Jimmy is this little kid, and he gets in lots of trouble and everything. But one day little Jimmy's dad comes home and walks in. It's been a long day. Not really excited, and he walks in and sees good old wife, little Jimmy's mom, and little Jimmy's mom comes up to me and says, "So, you need to have a talk with Jimmy." He's like, "What happened? Is he all right?" And she's like, "Yeah, but little Jimmy's he had sex," and Dad's, to save face in front of Mom, Dad's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna go talk to him," so he gets in the room and, "All right, Jimmy, go. That's my boy. Way to go, Jimmy." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, well, thanks, Dad." And he's like, "Oh, well, he's like, oh, who was she?" And, little Jimmy, talks to his dad all about it. And, little Jimmy's dad goes to work the next day and he's like, "Yo, guys, Jimmy had sex for the first time yesterday." And all his coworkers, give him a high fives and everything. It's good job, man. What a cool kid. And then he gets back home and, he goes up to little Jimmy. He's like, "Hey, little Jimmy, how'd today go? Did you have sex again?" And little Jimmy looks at his dad and goes, "No, my ass still hurts from yesterday." Oh, look at that.
Oh. Hey-o.
Hey-o. So, I guess we
I
should
knew it
move
was
on.
going somewhere.
One last one, and this one's for Will.
Oh.
How do you tell what clan a Scotsman's from?
Look at his kilt.
You pull up his kilt, and if he's a quarter pounder, he's a McDonald.
Oh my goodness.
That's good.
All
That's
right,
good.
so
That's-
how much more vulgarity?
I think that's enough for
All
right
right.
now.
Have we
All
filled
right.
the meter?
I have a handful more.
We can.
I have one. Okay, we'll do one more.
Uno mas.
It's a quickie. It's a quickie.
Oh.
A man is skateboarding on the beach.
Oh.
And it's like a sidewalk on the beach because a skateboard wouldn't work in sand. We know how skateboards work.
It's not healthy.
So he's skateboarding down the beach. It's a beautiful sunny day, and he comes across a seemingly magic lamp in the middle of the road. So he scoots in, and he picks up the magic lamp, and he rubs it, and lo and behold, a genie pops out. And the genie says, "I shall grant you one wish of your desire, master." So the man thinks hard and long to himself. What should he wish for? Money, women, a good car. And he finally says,
All of which are just possessive things, am I right?
uh-huh.
Boom!
So he says to the genie, "Oh, great and wonderful genie, give me a penis that touches the ground." So the genie says, Wabba, Wabba, Alakazam, your wish is my command. And the genie disappears. And the man's flabbergasted. He doesn't think his penis got any bigger. And then his feet fall off and he touches the ground.
Oh, goodness.
Okay.
I thought his dick was gonna fall off.
No.
If only.
Okay, we ready to start the main thing? So,
Man thing?
this is going to be an interesting, just a little snippet. A little snippet of things. We're almost out of August, and that means September and October is happening, and fall is here.
Get out your cardigans and your scarves, everybody.
Because you gotta
the
look.
leaves are about to start hitting the ground.
But you know what else hits the ground? The cable guy.
The cable guy.
Because TV's starting up.
New
and
TV.
all the shows are coming.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a bit about some shows that are new, some shows that are going into their second or third seasons, and we're gonna gab about some of those shows and our thoughts on them.
Yes.
I feel like I always have to have like one day where I can just put it out there, but the only show that matters is Game of Thrones. What are you even talking about? R plus L equals J.
Only thing is Game of Thrones happens in March, so March,
Exactly.
May.
Exactly. So just like this.
We gotta-
Also, Will doesn't have HBO, so
Yeah,
we're limited to what we can talk about with that show.
it's okay.
I mean, I've read the last book, but
But
Yeah.
stuff that happens.
So you
after
know the whole,
book
like,
hasn't happened.
watch. For the watch.
That's how they ended the season.
Yeah.
And they didn't have the whole like ghost thing, so everyone can like freak out and interpret it.
Yep. Anyways,
So let's just
Yeah,
we're gonna go down the
So,
list of shows.
the first kind of big section of shows has got to be all the superhero shows that are coming back.
and there are a lot of superhero shows.
Yeah, we got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
Some of them are pretty
Arrow,
good.
Flash, Gotham, Supergirl. You know, if I missed one.
So I'm
sue
gonna
me.
let's start with Agents of Shield because I want to give my case against Agents of Shield, and then people who watch it can defend it. Everything you hear about Agents of Shield, like the first season, it's like wow, but Agents of Shield, it's only like really good when the Marvel movie that comes out in May is nearing.
Right.
Like Agents of Shield, leading up to Age of Ultron, all this stuff happened.
Great episodes.
Leading up to Winter Soldier, all of this stuff happened. So Agents of Shield is one of the it's the ultimate Marvel plug show, and I think it's like a waste of Clark Gregg's talent. Like let him make a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let him do what he's good at.
Yeah. So that's my thing against Agents of Shield. It's like you gotta watch Agents of Shield. It's good again.
Yeah.
Like I want it to be all the episodes of a consistent quality. You know.
Right.
Yeah. Like Game of Thrones, it builds.
Yeah.
But Agents of Shield, it's like.
It's like a
It's like-
constant,
it's like
mountain range. and just up
18
and down,
episodes
up and
of
down.
meh, and then a couple that are pretty good because they want to tie it into the movie.
But
Right.
I think they're gonna do a spin-off where it's called like Bureaucrats of S.H.I.E.L.D. Where it's just like
Just all the people have to fight for money.
no, the people who have to just like do all the paperwork. Like yes, we
they're the
know
ones
that
who
we
have to,
blew
like-
up a church in Hungary.
They're the ones that have to
There
like,
were robots.
get on the phone with the mayors of like the cities that are destroyed after like the Avengers like incidents
You know
and
what,
stuff.
how about we-
Just like
we'll-
yes, I understand City Hall, lost a lot of structure. We'll be sending people to come fix
we'll-
Hulk wrote a like handwritten apology and
Hulk
everything.
sorry.
Hulk sorry.
We'll Captain America will cut the bow
Yeah.
at like the new playground we opened right next to the crater that Dark Elf Man makes.
It just follows like Jerry from accounting.
Apparently, CBS and Warner Brothers, who they're closely associated with, they're developing a show for the DC universe. It's going to be a sitcom at an insurance agency called Powerless, where they're not. It's I don't know when it's going to happen. But like it'll just be, hey, we're insurance people and superheroes.
In case you get shot by a laser beam from an alien's eyes, we're here to protect you and
yeah.
make
So
sure
that,
you get
But
that
like, will they like have like a depressing tone to it? Like he just like has a framed picture of Spider-Man there, and like there's a picture of him when he was a kid, and he's like, jumping from a ledge. I was like, no, oh god. Like,
I think it's DC, so Spider-Man 1.
DC, no Spider-Man.
Oh,
It's
right.
going to be a sitcom, but it'll have that terrible Man of Steel muted tone with the color correction.
Oh yeah.
I know this isn't a TV show, but we're actually getting a bright Superman suit in the next movie, so that's a good thing. Okay, what's the next? Well, defend Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., because I know Will loves it.
I mean, I'm on the same page as you. I mean, you know, the first couple of episodes were good because they released it around the same time, you know, that like a new Marvel movie was coming out, and then it's like you said, it's always been just like up in short little spikes, and then really just like, there's no really need to watch this show, you know.
The Flash, which we'll talk about later, that show built in quality. Like, the first 5 episodes, which are good, those are the worst parts of the show. It gets better and better.
And they don't really help themselves with like the continuity of their story. Like, it's easy to jump in like at certain parts where like, you know, there's gonna be like a little Easter egg of like Thor: The Dark World or whatever. You know, it's like it's easy to jump in, and that doesn't really help their case.
But
you know,
what I'm gathering from this is it gets best when it shows you what you want to see.
Yeah.
And what you want to see is a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
True.
The show is fan service. Like Daredevil, it hints that the Avengers exist, but it's not Daredevil's auditioning for the Avengers. It's Daredevil's doing his own thing.
Yeah.
And there's just like newspaper clippings with the Hulk on or something like that. Like Daredevil's its own thing. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is just all fan service.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be on the opposite side. I actually really like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. My only problem is I really hate how the show for the most part is all about Skye. Like, it does a lot of stuff about
She's the Inhuman, right?
Yeah, she's the girl, whatever they introduced.
She has mysterious powers.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't like her. She's so like, I thought she was gonna be cool for like 2 seconds, and then the second season started, and I was still disappointed.
The issue is like they're doing all this stuff to set up Inhumans, but that movie's coming out in almost
Like 2018, right?
2019.
Oh Lord.
It's the last Marvel movie in Phase 3. Like, they're setting up a movie.
That's a while.
Yeah. So we will have been most of us will be in our junior year of college by the time the Marvel movies are done.
Eesh, that's
Freshman year of college.
Yeah.
But I feel like amongst the things we've lived through in our lives, like NSA, 9/11, Iraq War, I feel like the Marvel Renaissance was like the most important one. Like, that's what's gonna go down in the history books.
Mm-hmm. A bunch of that I think it's like starting next year we will have superhero movies all within like 3-4 months of each other.
Yeah.
Because you look
It's gonna be great.
when you look at the Marvel lineup, the DC lineup, and the Fox lineup, and you sparse it all out, we'll have some months where we have 2 superhero movies at the same time.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
It's gonna be so good.
And with like Captain America: Civil War, which comes out in May, then Batman Superman comes out in March.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time Civil War comes out, Batman v Superman will still be in theaters.
Yep.
But like,
is
why do you
huge.
think? Why do you think that this is the decade that like everyone's bringing their A game with superhero movies?
I
Because
think
of Avengers, I think.
Well,
I
okay.
think, you know, Marvel kind of like started it off with the whole like the new Iron Man, and that kind of was the tiny spark that like you know, and then they kept going, and eventually
Superhero movies really started with like the first X-Men. That was
right.
Yeah.
Right.
that was the that's an old movie now. So the first X-Men happens, and then X2 was when it really started kicking into gear. And that's also around the time we had Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. So we've had a bunch of good movies in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started kicking up. And then those were all Marvel properties. They were either Marvel properties sold to Fox or Sony. And then Batman Begins was 2005.
Yeah.
So Batman Begins was Warner Brothers. Then Marvel took the scraps of what it had left and did... But Iron Man was 2008.
Oh wow.
So Iron Man was 5 years after, I think, the first Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
But they really started kicking up, and then Marvel announced its whole lineup, and everyone else is sort of picking up the pieces.
And then Avengers did so well, and everyone
Yeah.
was like, "Oh well, they're doing so good, you know. We're DC, you know. Why can't we do just as good?" And Now, hopefully, they will do just as good with what they're doing.
It looks good.
It's looking all right.
What I've seen is good.
Yeah.
I mean, like.
So I mean, so far superheroes are in now. Like everybody's liking what's coming out.
Yeah,
so
but they could
that's-
become uncool at
Yeah.
any time.
At any
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? I feel like they need to make Superman darker.
Then they already
You mean
went.
not killing 2 million people?
You mean then they already went?
Yeah, because
serious.
Superman's just like the golden boy for everyone. It's
That's
like,
in the
you know,
comics, and this Superman.
This Superman-
He's a,
Yeah, but like
It was.
we need
hated by the people.
There's a
We-
journalist named Mike Carnell, and he put it perfectly. This Superman is a godless killing machine. He does not laugh. That's why the new Justice League is can beat the Avengers, because the Avengers are like, hey, jokes, no jokes.
No jokes with the Justice League.
It's just
No.
like does
The
he
jokeless league.
brooding.
does he blink? Just like
Tommy's
Nope.
looking out. Tommy's doing a perfect Henry Cavill face. We're going too much into the movies. What's the next?
Let's get back on TV. Arrow. Arrow's next on the
So
list.
Arrow's going into its 4th season.
Yep.
I
Arrow's
still
best.
haven't gotten into that.
Arrow's best season is its 2nd season. The 3rd season was good, but I really feel that CW just shuffled around its writing staff so that they could make Flash as good as it is.
yeah.
Right.
They're going into a 4th season of Arrow now, and I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm
Fourth
gonna
seasons
watch
are
it
always
because
weird.
I'm committed to the show now. But I think they can get maybe a 5th season out of the show before they have to cut it off.
Right.
'Cause Stephen Amell's now a big time actor, so he's got to do his own
He's doing
thing.
WWE too.
Oh yeah,
He's supposedly gonna go back to that, is what.
yeah.
And they said he's supposed to do it in his Arrow costume.
Goes up and shoots a guy in the face with
Like-
a arrow. He's just like
Just like the Undertaker's like standing on a table and it's just like, who will face me? All of a sudden, just like he gets shot with an arrow. It's just, holy shit, he died.
Stephen Amell's doing like movies now, so he's
Yeah.
Casey Jones in the next Teenage
Yeah.
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Which is good. I'm
is
They're
it
doing
by
another Teenage
Michael
Mutant-
Bay?
I think
Yes.
he's still producing.
But it was so bad.
Yeah,
It was
it was better
Yeah.
than we could have hoped for. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't.
it
wasn't- It wasn't Secret of the Ooze,
No.
yeah.
but
And they weren't aliens.
Yeah.
Which is good.
They were gonna make it aliens. Like the origin story, people were like, okay, it's fine, get past it, just go beyond it. We want it.
I was sad that Megan Fox went back to fucking Michael Bay and did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
He
He's
did-
always
didn't-
gonna go back.
The
to
funny
that.
thing
Didn't
about
we
No,
like
like-
compare him to like Hitler at one
He
point?
was okay.
And he's, like,
I
a
watched some of the
Jewish dude.
footage like of like some of the backstage footage that like they don't show on the DVD
Mhm.
release or whatever, and like he straight up tells her that he owns her, and
Oh my.
and that if that she has to take off her top if he asks her or something.
Yeah.
Like
Top
he's
10 most charming things to say to a woman.
You have to show me your boobs if I ask you to.
Yeah. He didn't direct the second Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, the new one, but it has everything that would be in a movie if he did direct it.
Oh god, why?
Yeah.
What?
Anyways, so yep, Arrow. Hopefully the 4th season won't be as awkward as other 4th seasons of TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Anyone watch that?
No.
I
It's
watched
got that
That's
guy
done,
from
though.
Pacific
I
Rim,
watched
doesn't it?
halfway through the first season. It was good. I just kind of I
Alright.
stopped watching.
Basically, they have like 8 seasons where it's like if you look at the Netflix like plots for each episode, it's the same plot for each one. It's either Jax brings a new business opportunity to the club or old wounds resurface.
Oh no.
And it's just like that over and over and over again. But
Just a
basically,
show of old
spoiler
wounds.
alert, they blow up the Irish people, club gets destroyed, Jax is a Jesus Christ allegory that they shoehorn in there, and he gets hit by a car.
Cool.
Oh, wow.
But it's like
There you go.
That show's spoiled.
Yep.
Probably
No,
should
No
have
need
that.
to go watch it now, listeners.
No, first
That's the
first-
first season. Okay.
first 3 seasons are like on top of their game.
And then it
And
just
then
falls
there
down.
were 4 seasons. What I really like about it is the fact that they fight racial stereotypes in that. And when I say they fight racial stereotypes, I mean they actually fight racial stereotypes. Like every like I can't even go into detail about it, but just like picture like how how Donald Trump visualizes Latino people. That is the gang called the Mayans.
The Mayans.
Imagine how people in Ferguson are portrayed by the media. That is basically the Crips in the show. And then there's a bunch of like crazy skinhead white people. And it's just
Lord.
like...
And there's
intense.
one tolerant bike gang in all of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, they have rules about not letting black people in. They're bad people.
Oh my.
Oh,
They're rednecks.
they're just bad people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting away from racism and stereotypes.
The Flash, which is none of you guys have seen it.
I've never seen it.
This
Sam
in
will
terms
do a
of
little thing about it.
in terms of quality, in terms of writing, in terms of how much. This is the only show that's made me cry in a long time.
Didn't know Grant Gustin had it in him.
Dude,
Jeez.
there's
I knew he was attractive. I
there's
didn't
a
know he could
scene
make
where
you cry,
he
though.
goes back in time to do a thing, and I can't really say because it's such a huge spoiler. It's like, go watch the first season. I think it's on Hulu. The first 5 episodes are really good, and those are the worst ones.
Oh, wow.
It just gets better and better, and you don't even need to like read the Flash comics to like it, but it's even better if you do. It's just I think it's better than Daredevil.
Oh wow.
Oh,
As a show,
wow.
it
That's
is
a bold
better than
statement.
Daredevil.
that is a very bold statement.
Like of all, we got 4 superhero shows last year. In terms of quality, it goes Flash, Daredevil close second, then Arrow, which was meh, and then most people consider Gotham. Gotham was, I don't know. It's
I love Gotham.
it's a good procedural. It's just not a good Batman story.
Yeah, that's our
well, it's,
and
it's not meant to be a Batman
exposition.
story.
no, and that's our next show. Gotham comes back.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of stuff was announced at Comic-Con about it. We're gonna see the Joker again, or
The
guy,
potential
the guy- the
Joker.
potential Joker that they
Ooh,
showed off.
They put
in
an
the first
origin on the
season.
scariest character ever. That doesn't ruin the illusion at all.
It happens. That's happened multiple times though in shows or whatever, but or in comics.
I feel
and
like
such.
I've watched a decent amount of Gotham. Just like the dialogue from the people who you know. Oh yeah, that's the bad guy. Just like, hey man, I'm gonna wear this red hood to the bank robbery. It's like, all right, you don't have to keep on announcing the fact that you're wearing a red hood right now. Like,
Yeah.
I get
That was like the one episode that like all of the references kind of seemed a little forced
Yeah.
with the Red Hood episode.
Hey,
but,
why are you wearing that red hood?
Uh-huh.
But the Red
what?
Hood
This
was the
red
Joker.
hood.
The accepted origin of the
Well,
Joker
that's
is that
the-
it was the Red Hood.
That's the thing, is that the gang, I think how they're going to play it is that the gang is going to keep happening, how they ended the episode is that the Red Hood gang was dispatched. It was was dispersed, everyone died or was arrested or whatever, and I think eventually Jerome, who plays the Joker, or who is the Joker, potential Joker, is going to eventually discover the Red Hood, while doing some sort of research or whatever, or get arrested and placed in jail with one of the old members, and it'll ensue.
So they could be also going with the Killing Joke origin of the Red Hood, which is, we're gonna go into meta nerd stuff, so skip ahead 30 seconds. If you read the
Alright, time to hold my breath.
if you read the Killing Joke if you read the Killing Joke graphic novel, which you should, it's amazing.
It's great.
It gives a potential origin for the Joker, and it's the accepted one, but in there, there's this failing comedian who needs money, and he meets up with these criminals, and they give him a red hood, and he's like, wait, isn't that worn by the Red Hood? And he's like, no, that's this series of different crooks, and we give the hood to them all. So it could be that the Red Hood mantle is just passed down in this Gotham universe.
Which is how they sort of showed it in the episode, is the first guy who brought the Red Hood, it was just like an accident, and they were like, oh man, I thought we told you to bring a black hood, and he's like, I thought this would make me look cool or something, and it was kind of like a little joke or whatever, and it started off as an accident,
I
but then
do not get how
you know-
criminals are running Gotham. They're honestly the most clueless people ever. I heard a noise outside. We should check it out.
It's not necessarily that the criminals are running; it's the people who run the criminals. Are the ones running the city.
I was watching. I've been playing a lot of Arkham Knight, and you play this game, and to keep you entertained during the long flight scenes because you have to fly around a lot, you just hear the criminals talking to each other. It's like, hey, I wonder how Batman affords all this stuff. Oh, he probably has a trust fund that he puts through some shell companies. Some tax loopholes in Delaware. I know, it's crazy. That's just how the game keeps you entertained.
That's it.
It's like imagine everyone in this world is Vincent Vega.
Yeah,
That's it.
pretty much.
That's they're all Vincent Jules talking to each other.
We were watching Sam play Arkham, and I brought up a pretty solid point. Do you think that there are rappers who come out of Gotham?
Straight out of Gotham. Crazy mother villain named
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
What killed the dinosaurs?
No. That's Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze. We don't.
That's
speak
Schwartz
of
of
him.
Freeze.
We
Different.
don't speak of him.
Those are different movies.
Oh god. Oh, speaking of Mr. Freeze, Gotham is supposed to feature
Victor Freeze.
Yeah, Mr. Freeze.
Which origin do you think they're gonna go with?
No clue.
His new
Probably the wife thing.
He has his new 52 origin is like he studies cryogenics and he becomes obsessed with the first woman to be cryogenically frozen.
Yep.
And he believes that they're married and he's always trying to steal her body despite the fact that he's never met her.
Yeah.
Which I think is better. It's a little more tragic than just wife gets sick and he freezes her.
Yeah.
And then as he's freezing her, he falls into we're not. It's
that one's also equally. I mean, that one's pretty.
Mr.
tragic
Freeze
as
is
well.
just like kind of a ridiculous character to begin with,
But
and so like to try to give him an origin is just like it's like how could we be the
He's
least
more like
ridiculous about this?
He's more like a Dr. Octopus type villain to where like
Right.
he's mentally the villain that respects Batman the most, and Batman respects him back.
Right.
And also,
Because
It's why you constantly find them working together.
Freeze's motivation isn't money; it's he wants to save his wife.
yeah,
Right.
so it gives like some humanity to him aside from I'm the crazy clown guy.
I thought they did a good job of that with Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
They did a very good
Dude.
job of making Doc Ock not really a villain. Like
Right.
even in the scenes where he was doing villainy things and stuff.
the motivation
like-
was he felt I owe it to my wife to
Yeah.
finish this.
Yeah.
But do you guys know the play Red?
No.
No.
It's about the last 3 months of painter Mark Rothko's life. And like you see superhero movies and you're like, yeah, there's like an okay cast. Doc Ock was in the Broadway adaptation of Red, and he was like super intense in it. But like you can see it, he looks like Rothko. But could I switch to the top?
The guy who played Doc Ock?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
Alfred Molina.
Yeah.
Wonderful actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
But,
Yeah, not actual Doctor.
I know we're going back to movies here, but
He was in the beginning of Indiana Jones.
November. Da-da, da-da.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Christoph Waltz is playing a bad guy.
And they're not.
Da-da-da.
They're not saying it's Blofeld, but it's totally
Blofeld.
Blofeld.
In the trailer,
not-
when like Bond is on like the third like observation deck, and he's like sitting at the table, and he's like, "We've been waiting a very long time for you,
James.
James."
And he's wearing a Blofeld jacket.
And he like
Yeah.
he like looks up right at him. It's like, oh my god.
Ah.
It was so beautiful. I'm like
He's either
I am
Blofeld or
such
Dr.
a James
No. We don't
Bond
know.
fan. Like I've just read all the books.
You've read Casino Royale?
Yeah. I've read all of.
We're out of books now. There's only there's one short story left, but everything else is original now.
Do you know why all the girls die?
Huh?
And, the writer of all the James Bond books,
Because Ian Fleming hated women?
his girlfriend actually died in a
Oh.
Nazi like firebombing raid.
Oh wow.
Huh.
Yeah.
So, like-
he like Ian Fleming based a majority of the books off of actual events that like he took actual missions he took part in.
Yeah.
Like and there's a book or there's like a short story where there's like a nuke in London, and apparently that actually happened.
Huh.
Not a nuke because like
a bomb,
they had
but a dirty bomb.
Yeah, it was a big bomb that was in the center of London,
I feel
and
like-
nobody knew.
Did
about
you
it.
watch? I
I
was
think-
watching Goldfinger the other day, and I was like, it's a good movie. But then I realized, oh, sexism. Like he's in this. He's on the beach. He's at this beach hotel in Miami, in the same hotel Goldfinger's at, and the guy gives him his mission, and he's with this lady. He's giving him a massage, and he says, "Oh, toddle off now. I'll see you later." And she says, "What are you talking about, James?" And he says, "Man things. Turn around now." And then he slaps her in the ass, and she walks away.
The best was back in the Sean Connery days when this like Asian girl comes out of the water and it's like, "What's your name?" And she's like, "Tu Ming," and he's like, "Maybe later." But I feel about the dirty bomb thing and how he based it off of operations. I can totally see like the commissioner of MI6 like slowly like putting down the book. That he's like, "God damn it, Fleming!"
Okay, what's the next show?
Next on the list is Supergirl. This is the first new one.
It's a
that we
brand
got.
new show.
Brand new show. Melissa Benoist,
Something.
Benoit, something like that.
She-
She was on Glee.
What I find funny about this show is that when they announced Supergirl to be the show, people are like, why are they saying Supergirl and not Superwoman? Because the character it's based off of is Supergirl.
Yep.
And time things happen, so she's younger than, she's like 16 in the comics.
She's
Yeah.
actually
She's like
she's
20,
young.
she's
She's
20
very
something in this show.
Yeah.
She's a 20, so it's like, if you watch the 5-minute trailer, which is just the first episode, all in one.
Yeah.
It's like, she's a 20-something in New York City trying to find love. But what's going on? A plane's crashing
Yeah,
and
it's literally- I
Superman's
saw-
not catching it.
I saw something that was like the SNL spoof about like what the Black Widow thing
where
would
it's
be
like,
like, where it's
she-
like
she
she's
lives-
just trying to find love, and then it's like it's so funny because like the next day the trailer for Supergirl comes out and it's literally the same thing.
Like frame for frame,
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
I was shocked because the internet didn't lose its mind when famously redhead reporter Jimmy Olsen is tall black man Jimmy Olsen in this show. Which I don't mind, but the internet doesn't like things when black people play white people.
Donald
Wait,
for
what's
Spider-Man.
Well, Donald Glover, the character they want him to play would be based off of the character
Miles
in the comics
Morales.
that's based off of him.
Right.
They wanted to play black superhero Miles Morales, which is sort of different. But it's like the human, when they cast what's-his-face as the Human Torch in that movie, we're not going to talk about anymore.
We don't talk
Everyone
about
loses their minds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Donald said that Childish Gambino might be like fading away, which sucks. Like he's not going to be working on any albums anymore.
Man.
But that could leave room for him to be
More
a
acting,
superhero.
I haven't done stuff in a while.
The call of the film analysts that I follow, what they all say is the reason Marvel didn't want to do Miles Morales Spider-Man is because while it's a great character, it's way too obscure for general audiences.
Right.
So they're going with Peter Parker for maybe the next to finish out Phase 3, and then Miles Morales could happen in Phase 4, which we don't know. But like Miles Morales, for those of you who don't know, he is a person who gets bitten by a different radioactive spider.
So he has very similar but different powers.
A couple different powers.
Wait,
but,
are they in the same universe?
Yes.
His an ultimate.
It's after Peter Parker dies.
So yeah, so Miles Morales gets.
Oh, I thought Miles
What?
Morales was
And the
like a
Ultimates.
completely different.
So-
Like they made a different comic series and just made a black Spider-Man.
Well, that's what's going to be after this whole thing Marvel's going through. Now, in the comics, there was the Ultimate Spider-Man who had a slightly altered origin, but then Peter Parker dies. Meanwhile, later ago, this kid Miles Morales got bit by a spider, discovered he had powers, but kept them secret, and then he witnesses Peter Parker getting murdered, and then he decides to become Spider-Man to honor Peter Parker.
Ta-da!
Well, what a
Black
what
Spider-Man.
what
to
a,
build
what
a
a
Black
remarkable
Spider-Man.
coincidence.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like, people love, he's a comic fan favorite, but like no one else knows who he is.
Yeah.
Well, we're definitely getting Miles Morales. Just I think they want Peter Parker to be the hero who ushers us into the next phase of Marvel. Because like Steve Rogers, Tony Stark, all those actors' contracts are expiring.
Yeah.
So,
But like,
yeah.
they gotta. I'm not really saying like pass it down for the next generation, but like because they don't care about us in any
They
way
don't
or our
care.
children. They're just like, more money drops.
The person in charge
Give
of
us
the person
more.
in charge of Marvel, Kevin Feige, he is like the patron saint of us. So maybe Disney doesn't care, but Kevin Feige understands. He's a smart guy who's like, let's do White Spider-Man now, which everyone knows, and we'll do
later.
equally awesome Peter Parker later. Donald Glover's probably gonna look young for a long time.
Yeah.
So
He'll probably still look like an 18-year-old.
he can still be Miles.
Next on the list, we got The Walking Dead / Fear the Walking Dead.
Okay, so I have only seen one episode of The Walking Dead.
Tommy and I are pretty
It was the
avid
first episode.
Walking Dead fans.
I might watch Fear the Walking Dead because if you've seen the first episode, it's not really a spoiler because it's so old, but Rick Grimes goes into a coma. Fear the Walking Dead takes place
It
in the
starts, and this is also we haven't Walking Dead fans have never actually seen what the first month or two looks like of the outbreak, because in the comics and the TV show
it all starts.
There's a huge gap in between where Rick Grimes' main character gets shot and goes into a coma and then wakes up.
So Fear the
and
Walking Dead
apocalypse is
happens
like,
in that 4
I want to
period.
figure out how that affair happened. Like, it's just like, yeah, he got shot. He's probably dead. There's zombies now.
Let's bang.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
But
Hey.
on the subject of the first month of the zombie apocalypse, do you ever hear people talking about their like survival plan? Like it's foolproof. Like I'll go to my lake house and I'll be fine. I have a dog. Like
I have a dog.
People do not realize how screwed they would be if zombies showed
It's
up.
like, oh, you're going to your lake house. Where are you going to get a car? How will you get there?
Where are you gonna get
gas?
food? Where are you
It's
gonna
like,
get?
Like my plan for if we're at school, I find it pretty, pretty almost foolproof. I'd have to figure out the only issue that I haven't necessarily worked out with.
Identify people with low GPAs who wear Vineyard Vines. Grab them firmly by
No,
the
they're all
shoulder.
smart
Use them
too.
as shields.
They're gonna go to good colleges
That's the
and have
problem.
money.
See?
That's like some of them are dumb, but
God,
like a lot of them are smart.
some people at normal high schools, you've got the redneck, white elitist trash, and they're dumb, and they're not going to do anything with their lives because they're going to think that they can do football for the rest of their lives, and you can't do football for the rest of your life.
But we don't have a football
We don't
team.
have those kind of white assholes.
We
just
need
have
to give them head injuries.
Preppy assholes, and they know who they are, but they don't listen to this because they don't support their classmates because they're assholes.
jerks. Anyways,
It's a great school, but we just have some people.
But no, my idea is go to the scene shop. Because the scene shop, you've got the genie, which is like a foolproof zombie vehicle.
Yeah.
That's like perfect.
What's a
It
genie?
raises.
What's a genie?
It's
You
an
haven't
electric.
seen it?
It's an electric like kind of vehicle that has like a little like a cage around it,
Yeah.
and it can raise and lower.
So you're just gonna live
It's
in that.
basically well, I would use it to get away from the school is how I would use it because
It has
we
wheels.
have someone at the school
Yeah.
would get bitten. We have a lot of people who would freak out
Yeah,
and
and,
they
like,
would
you
die.
could go
And
through
we'd have a
doorways.
certain
Yeah.
we'd have a pretty big zombie problem at the school. Just with all the dumb people that would have gotten eaten.
I like how you glanced at me when you said dumb people who would have gotten eaten.
Tommy. No, but and so it'd be like a pretty big herd of zombies, and so you'd need something that you could get through there with.
Do you think the virus would go slower on Liam Nelson?
Maybe.
Dude,
Yeah.
I have more
Liam
time.
would be my bud.
You
Like,
just
we'd go
climb
to
on top of Liam's shoulders.
Just like, go! But like,
Liam's a
Scene
very,
Shop-
very tall
Scene
kid
Shop
at
is a
our
good
school.
idea.
Yeah. So I think
Oh,
Liam
hey.
Nelson would be fine with a zombie apocalypse. I think Liam Nelson has a suit of armor in his garage.
Probably
And
somewhere.
he'd slap it on,
Yeah.
and it's like had Kevlar.
I'm pretty
lining.
sure he just like constantly has a katana, like he just carries one like a pocket knife.
You know, Liam-
considering what he did on 85, I think he'd be fine.
Yeah.
He'd be alright.
Yeah.
I think, Liam, funny story about Liam Nelson. Liam Nelson He once came to my cousin's bar mitzvah, and he showed up, and he just drove a Ferrari. He doesn't own a Ferrari. We all know this about Liam Nelson.
No.
We've been friends with him for ages. But he shows up in a Ferrari, and he like pulls up, and he's like, "What's up?" And I said, "Liam, you're not supposed to be here." And he says, "Hey, it doesn't matter. It's a bar mitzvah, public invite." And like, it's fine, Liam. So, but Liam, he just caused this huge mess. And what he did was, anytime they did my cousin on the hora on the chair, he'd just take my cousin off the chair, and we had to keep telling him to stop doing that.
Like, that's not how this works.
There was this time when
when men were kind.
Yes.
Little Les Mis reference there.
There was this time when like he would keep on showing up at school, and he would have like severe bruising on his face. And I noticed that he'd been reading Fight Club, and I was like,
Liam, did you start a fight club?
I asked him about it. He's like, yeah, I started a club. And I was like, was it a fight club? And he like got really confused. I'm like, but you read Fight Club. And he's like, part of it, yeah. I'm like, did you finish the sentence? And he's like, no, I stopped at club. Like, how does that even work?
Yeah. Anyways,
Liam
Nelson, what a guy.
What a guy.
I hear he's in the mafia.
Liam Nelson once came into my political science class. He wasn't even in high school yet.
Wow.
But he once came into my political science class, and he just high-fived the teacher and walked out. And all of us were like, who was that who just graced into our lives?
I heard a story about during, like, this was back when he was in middle school before he was in high school, and, like, you know how, like, the thing to do in middle school when, like, the pool gets opened? Mm-hmm. There's a pool right next to our school. Is, like, go down to the pool after school and everything. And I heard Liam Nelson went down to the pool one day and literally spent the entire time under the diving board, keeping it from bouncing. And just kids would get confused. They'd get to the end of the diving board.
They'd try to jump.
They'd try to jump, and it'd just be rigid, and it was just...
It wasn't in like a rude way. Like
no.
you wouldn't
like
you wouldn't get mad at him.
It's like Liam.
Liam Nelson goes to pool parties, and he just points at people, shouting loudly that they peed in the pool.
Yeah.
And they're like,
it's just what he does.
I'll own up to it. I saw him one time argue with a Republican, and he changed their political opinions.
Wow.
At school?
Yeah, at school.
Wow. Our school, the people at our school are very firm in their political beliefs, so that is
Liam Nelson.
Remember that time when we
he can do it all.
Remember we had the Democratic Club and the Republican Club, and there was like...
Do those exist anymore?
I don't think so, but there was like a brief period of time where they were at total war with each other or something.
And Liam Nelson walked into the fray, and they stopped out of respect.
Just out of
pure...
Like,
Joey Pike was like about to strike down someone with a greatsword, but when
Liam
he saw
said, "No!"
When he saw Liam didn't even have to say anything. When Joey saw him, he just bowed.
Just
swung it underneath into like the knight's
changed his grip and just one knee down.
Liam Nelson got Spectrum to change the name of their club to Liam for a day.
For one day.
Just out of curiosity of what it would do.
He also walked in and he made a joke about women in Spectrum.
In the middle of Spectrum.
Everyone just lost it laughing.
Everyone laughed.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Liam Nelson wants to create peace in the Middle East, but little does he know, just the thought of Liam Nelson creating peace in the Middle East created peace in the Middle East.
Yes. All right.
Enough about
Liam Nelson.
Liam Nelson.
Moving on back to TV shows. Up next is the original Walking Dead TV show. So Tommy and I are
avid fans.
Fully big fans. Both. I read the comics and I think they're amazing. Much better than the TV show in my opinion, but that's another discussion for another day. Right now we're talking about the TV show.
I have a very nasty relationship with The Walking Dead in that it's like, yeah, I'm not going to treat you right. Yeah, I'm not going to give you what you want. And then it's like, all right, I'm done with this show. And it's like, no, baby, come back. Come on.
It's like, you know you want to, but look at this. Like,
it's
look what you're leaving behind. And
it's like,
just
wait, what?
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, now they're on another commune, and you're just like, God.
No. Yeah.
And then the teaser trailer.
Hopefully, what I've heard is that they're going to try to stay more true to the comics, which if that is the case, things are about to get really, really good. And I hope that they follow through. There's a whole really, really
Purple.
bad.
Really purple.
Really purple.
Purple.
Anyways,
I like the color
but
purple.
there's a whole
Makes me happy.
volume of The Walking Dead that this isn't necessarily a spoiler, but it's a big long battle where the group is trying to protect the place that they're at that time, because there's a big herd that attacks the compound. They spend the entire volume just fighting off zombies, and at the end they realize, like Rick Grimes gives this super badass speech where he's like, they're not a threat to us anymore. Like they like come to the realization that like zombies are not a problem for them anymore. That they're just like, they can deal with them. Like it's so good.
Wait, Rick Grimes in the comics?
Yeah, Rick Grimes is the main character.
I thought it was a different.
Comics,
I thought it was a different story.
No, it's the same story with. It's very altered.
No, the video game's a different story.
Oh, video games is a completely
is
different
so
story.
Video game was so.
I recently started replaying the video game, and I just finished season 1 again, and it's so good. It just reminded me
Game
how
of
amazing
Thrones
it is.
Telltale.
Oh my god!
I got that too. which I'm
Hey,
about
did
to
you get
play.
Tales of Borderlands?
Yeah,
Oh yes.
Y'all play Nest of Vipers?
I haven't played it yet, but I got it.
Alright, imagine like the worst moment in Game of Thrones. Now like
Yep.
amplified.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
It
Only
was.
like
It was
Ugh.
so. It was so. Oh no! It was just got.
Anyways,
But, like-
so Walking Dead, big things, big promises. I hope for the
because-
future.
This
my
sounds like a
world-
huge cock tease of a show.
What?
Walking
Yeah.
Dead.
And more so right now, especially since they like said the whole thing about it's gonna be more accurate to the comics.
Yeah.
Like that's a huge cock tease. It's like
Yeah.
because it's the comics, like in the past, like since the show has come out, the comics have really like vamped up like on the awesomeness and just the pure like just good of like how good it is.
I think about what you said about how like zombies aren't a threat anymore. To quote my world history teacher, it's not about zombies. It's about the people in the show. That's like
True.
Like the biggest threat to them is like themselves. Like zombies are just like, bah, and they can just be like,
Yeah.
golf ball.
Well, and that's the whole like realization with the it's called No Way Out, I believe, is the
Because
the
title
theme.
of
but
the
like
volume. But
they haven't taken on like an entire horde yet, because they've been so isolated for so many seasons. And the first season they were like just avoiding the hordes. I would love to just see them like Daryl's like on top of a roof, just like picking off the big ones and like katana just slicing through there. But
well, and that's pretty much what happens in that storyline, which
That's
is
cool.
what makes it awesome. It's like 5 whole issues of just them fighting the same horde.
So this'll be
great.
the
It's
season
great.
where like our boyfriend shows up with like flowers and chocolates. And he's like, I want you back,
baby.
Plays
Come
a
on.
boombox outside your window.
Yeah, you know.
I don't want to close my eyes.
On to another
I think we're
quite. This is. I
wrapping
think
it
this is
up.
our last
We're
one.
gonna try to wrap it up on
We're
this
gonna
one.
end it on. I think this is a show that we all watch.
American Horror
American
Story.
Horror Story.
Yeah.
Dum dum.
Hotel.
Dum dum.
Yeah.
So I think each season is weird. So the first 2 seasons were very psychological horror,
Yes.
but sometimes they kind of skimped on storytelling.
Yeah.
So it's like the first 2 seasons were very horror.
Yeah.
Season 3, I felt had the most story to it.
Yeah.
But almost, and like maybe the opening sequence of season 3 with what's her face,
Uh huh.
the old
Thaisa Farmiga, I believe is her name.
yeah, and then the older white woman,
Yeah.
Jessica Lange.
Yeah.
not Jessica Lange.
Oh, the other one.
She was in Misery.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who I'm talking about. That opening scene that was very much the horror element of it, but the rest of it was just really good storytelling. Season 4 with the first part of the clown, that blew me away. That had the horror, and then they kind of dialed away from the horror, and then they went back to it a bit.
After Twisty died, the horror kind of...
Yeah. I think with Season 4, it was definitely more of a just being taken down to the base of humanity.
Well, and I think the whole big part about Season 4 was, like, the whole realization and the establishment of all of these stories are intertwined. Like, they all take place in the same universe, like... You know, and all these stories connect somehow.
There's a reference to every season in each season. So, like, they say, I'm leaving this freak show, or...
I maintain that Asylum was the best season.
Yes, I think so.
Even though I imagine the writing room is like, all right, what horror movie stereotypes do you want to take? And they were debating, like, serial killers, no Satanism, no zombies, no aliens. And the one guy was just like, fuck it all, we'll do it all.
We're doing everything.
That's funny.
But at the same time, we will perfectly frame every moment together.
Season 2 is, there are no good guys. You're like, the good guy saved the girl, and oh no.
No, God.
But dude,
See,
honestly,
I was having this argument.
liked the nun girl so much better when she became possessed by the
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
I was having this argument over the summer, and I started talking about American Horror Story, and I had a whole bunch of friends around me who were watching it, and they were like, "Oh, I love it so much, but I hate the second season." I was like, "What? You gotta be kidding me! That's the best." Like, I was like, it's got the most like symbolism and the horror in it, and it's just
great.
like it's beautiful. Yeah. And they were like, "Oh, but dude, they had vagina mouth alien." I was like, let's calm down, okay?
Yeah.
We don't need to.
I think.
All right, I'm not gonna ask questions to get into what you were saying about. But
I think upcoming, we've seen nothing. Like all
well,
of
we've seen we know the first thing that was introduced was the title Hotel, and that it was going to feature Lady Gaga, which was so like that was probably like the most exciting like reveal that they've done for a season.
Gay men all over the country rejoiced
which
and told
is actually
Comcast
quite
to give
a
them
big,
FX.
which is quite a big like part of their demographic actually. Like a
Yeah.
lot of my like
One
a lot of
I think it's Brad Felchunk is gay. One of the
Brad
creators
Felchuk.
is gay.
Yeah. No, like my uncle is also gay, and like all of his friends, including him and like all their partners, like they all watch it, and I'm like, huh. And like I didn't. It's not, but it's a great show.
So the show Hannibal. This is digressing a bit. I know it's ended.
I love
and
it.
it's sad. So when it got canceled, this guy wrote on The Verge, wrote an article about how great it was, and then in the article he pointed out all the gay undertones in Hannibal.
Oh, it's
and I'm like,
so...
wait, I didn't notice any gay undertones. Then I started watching the third season. I'm like, oh, I see it now.
Yeah, it is like
like Will Graham gets stabbed, but he goes, ah.
Yeah, no, the entire like
It's
even
just like
the second
Top
and
Gun.
first seasons, like there are shows where like the fandoms or fans, whatever you want to call it, like they go, oh, but these two guys totally love each other. Whereas in Hannibal, it literally is like they do.
Yeah.
It is. There is so much homoerotic tension between Hannibal and Will Graham that it's not even funny.
It's insane.
It is insane.
I didn't notice it because I was like, oh, this is really good storytelling and I love this show and I'm so sad it's over.
Great.
It's sort of like the shattered glass moment of a friendship where you're like, well, you know they chew really loudly.
Yeah.
I couldn't see anything else after that. Yeah. Good show, though. Great show.
Yes.
I was so
Back
I
to-
tried to promote it. I tried to get other people to watch it, and like I couldn't find.
And then
people.
every single streaming service passed on it.
Yeah, I was just.
It's gone.
Yeah.
No more Hannibal, guys. Sorry.
American Horror Story. So as we were talking about, the first kind of hint that we got to it was the title, and that Lady Gaga was in it, which was great. And then later, was it Comic-Con that they announced the full cast?
Yeah.
Comic-Con they announced the full cast of who was going to be.
Is everyone coming back? I know
Except
Jessica Lange.
Jessica Lange.
Yeah.
Freak Show was her last season.
Yeah, we knew that going into it.
But I believe
kinda
everyone
happy about it.
from the past season is going to be in it with a couple of people who are going to have more important roles. Like Matt Bomer's going to have a more important role in this season.
Oh, he's the guy from
He's the pretty boy from White
Michael
Collar.
Chiklis.
Yeah.
Chiklis for Chiklis.
Yeah, so there's gonna be, mainly the same people.
That's good.
Yeah, the only person whose character that they haven't announced, that's another thing they did at Comic-Con, is they announced the cast and what characters they would be playing, or the names of the characters. The only person that they didn't announce whose character they would be playing is Evan Peters. And that's like the thing that we still don't know.
He's probably the main villain.
Probably.
Yeah.
Which is why they're keeping it secret. Everyone.
What I love about all FX shows in general is when you look at trailers and promos, it tells you nothing.
It doesn't give you anything.
Like NBC spoils pretty much.
It gets you
everything.
excited,
yeah,
but it doesn't tell you anything.
Oh, here's a weird animated claymation short clip we made for the show.
Right.
That has nothing to do with anything else.
I feel like out of all the really, Asylum, Coven, all the really broad things they could have done, Hotel is the scariest.
Yeah.
I sleep in hotels.
Yeah.
I've been to a hotel.
I think I think it's harkening back to Murder House, where it's just it takes place in a very small stage.
Yeah.
Is Hotel? Do we have did they announce the time? The era?
I don't really. The timeline doesn't really matter to me.
No.
But I think that the 1950s is
it's pretty prime.
Yeah. It's a scary time period.
We're probably gonna see a lot of Shining and Bates Motel references.
Yeah.
In this show, just as a joke.
Yeah.
Also, guess what? The guy who lives next door to me does not production design, but he something along the lines of finding setting for productions or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a common employee or whatever. I don't know how to say it correctly of American Horror Story.
He's a crew member.
Yeah, he's your constant crew member, and he gives me the inside scoop on all American Horror Story stuff, so that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. It's all good. I really think we're in for a treat with all the shows we've talked about today. Thank you for bearing with us. We hope that you listen to our recommendations. If you haven't seen any of these shows, you still have time to catch up.
Yeah.
They don't start till
Next
September,
month,
October, and Hulu exists. So
Netflix, Hulu.
catch up while you can, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Adios. Oh, should we do Twitter stuff?
Oh yeah, Twitter stuff. I'm at Holmes or Simpson.
At What's Up Michael, and also I run the Unwatchable Twitter, which, as Samuel said earlier, we only have around 6 followers right now, so
You can
follow
change that.
away. You can change that. You can be the person who gives us more followers. It's at Unwatchable Pod, P-O-D, as in podcast.
Will.
Oh, I'm not at anything because I still don't have a Twitter.
And Tommy.
I don't have social media, but vote for my poem.
I'll include
Links will
ATL.
be posted on Twitter.
There will be a
Facebook,
link.
and everything.
If you vote for my poem, I will personally sign the book I'm going to write in 30 years. And you can be like, oh, well, I voted for Tommy.
We have we also have a Tumblr page where Samuel occasionally writes.
I put
if I
pictures
win,
of
I will write a love
apologies.
poem for every person who voted for me.
Just tell him you voted for him.
I just have a base.
The Tumblr has the only thing on the Tumblr is Will's thing. You can also follow us on SoundCloud and iTunes. Our only SoundCloud follower is Will's sister, Jessie Hodgson.
Yeah.
I think I follow us on SoundCloud.
Yeah, but you don't count because you're on it. So
as you can see, the show is prospering.
if you really want to help us out, go into iTunes. And I know going into iTunes is the worst experience because Apple it's a dumpster fire. No, I'm not. Go into the iTunes app.
It's kind of like going to a Blockbuster.
Okay,
in this
here's how you write a review for us on iTunes. It's very not simple. Go onto your Mac, then open the iTunes program. It's that thing that's not Spotify.
Then close the window that asks you if you want to update.
You don't want to
50
update.
millionth time.
It's okay. You don't need to update. It's the music player on your computer that's not Spotify. Go into that. Then go into the little tab bar in the upper left-hand corner, because that makes sense. Select podcast. Then hit store, but it's not the iTunes store. Then type in the search bar, Unwatchable. When you go and find the one thing that is our podcast, click on it, give us a 5-star review, and then I'll be your best friend for going through all of that. Also, if you are a graphic designer, we need new art.
We do need new art.
The one we have with Rosser's name on it is wonderful. It was done by a great friend of ours, Truly Kate's, but it's time for a new era. If you can take that TV that we have and like make something similar to that,
Right.
but like also make it different. You don't need to put all of our names on it, but
Or if you can do high detailed drawings of each one of our faces, but in each iris, it's like a Jackson Pollock painting with the base color of each one of our eyes, and it has a very surrealist tone, and you have to use correct proportions.
Yeah.
Long story short, Tommy is very specific about what he wants the logo to look like.
we need a new logo. We would love it if you could give us a new logo.
Yeah.
I might pay you. I don't know.
We'll plug you in the podcast.
Might be.
If we
I
pick
could
it
ask
or
Truly
whatever.
Kate's for another one, but she does so much for
She
us.
does.
I don't want to ask her again because she did it as a favor, and she's a great person. So yeah, other than that, I think that's it. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.